How about I say welcome, and then Lily says to, and then Aiden says the, and then you say knowing, and then I say God.
And then we all say together, podcast!
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough. Don't do that. How, Grayson?
What if this was live? We cannot do this live.
Yo, is this because I'm used to like college degrees and all of that stuff, you know? Welcome
to the
Knowing
God
Podcast.
Okay,
This interview's over.
I didn't do that right. Grayson, you gotta be up here, man. No. Okay, now you do it.
to.
No, you say welcome. Stay down here. Say welcome. Grayson, stop. Say it the right way.
Say
Mom, will you tell him
welcome.
to say it the right way?
No, can I listen to this when we're done?
Welcome to episode number 57 of the Knowing God podcast for kids. I am Erin, and you are...
Grayson.
Hi, Grayson.
Hi.
Grayson, I have a question. Do you like dinosaurs?
Yes.
Maybe just a little bit or a whole bunch?
A whole bunch.
A whole bunch? You just had a birthday party, didn't you?
Yep.
What kind of party did you have?
I had a dinosaur party.
Did you get a lot of dinosaur presents?
Everything except for 2 presents was dinosaur.
You really like dinosaurs, don't you?
Yep.
Can you tell me about a couple of your favorite dinosaurs?
Well, my first favorite dinosaur is a dinosaur called Pachycephalosaurus.
Oh, I like how you pronounced it so clearly. Tell me about your Pachycephalosaurus. What do you know about it?
Well, it's kind of tall, and it on its head, it has a bump on it and it's 9 inches of bone.
Oh, the bump is 9 inches of bone?
Yep.
What did it do with that bump?
Well, probably head-butted.
Oh, so is that why you like it so much? Because it head-butted?
I don't know. I just like how it looks and everything.
I see. What's another favorite dinosaur that you have?
Well, this used to be my favorite dinosaur, a dinosaur called Allosaurus.
Oh, what's an Allosaurus?
It has 3 fingers, and it's kind of like a T-Rex type thing.
I see. So it kind of looks like a T-Rex. Mm-hmm. Was it kind of mean looking like a T-Rex, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it okay with you if we talk about dinosaurs today in the podcast?
Yep.
Well, today I want to talk about how when people talk about dinosaurs and when they study dinosaurs, sometimes people disagree about dinosaurs. Did you know that? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay. So in order to do that, I want us and our listeners to do a little bit of imagining. Okay. Are you ready to imagine something?
Yep.
Okay. I want you to imagine that we are in this big room with 100 people. And these 100 people are what the world would call experts. Do you know what the word expert means?
Yeah. It means like, basically, I'm really good at this, like I'm an expert at this.
Yeah, you're right. So let's say that these people are experts. That means they know a lot of things. Maybe they went to school or went to college and they studied these things and they're experts. So let's say they're experts in dinosaurs, or they're experts in the Bible, or both, okay?
Okay.
So can you imagine these 100 people in your mind? Okay. So now that we have 100 people in the room who are experts, we're going to ask them 3 questions about dinosaurs. Okay? We're still imagining.
Okay.
So here are the 3 questions we're going to ask them. The first question is, where did dinosaurs come from? The second question is, when did the dinosaurs become extinct? And the third question is, did dinosaurs live at the same time as people? Do those sound like interesting questions?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that when we ask those 100 experts those 3 questions, do you think everyone would agree on the answer?
No.
Do you think we might get different answers?
Yes.
I think so too. I think it's likely that we would get different answers on all 3 of those questions. And it's because not everyone agrees about dinosaurs. Let's talk about these 3 questions and some of the different answers that we might get. So the first question that we asked our imaginary people was, where did the dinosaurs come from? So Grayson, if I were to ask you that question, what would your answer be? Where did they come from?
Well, God created them.
That's a good answer. Do you know what the very first 2 words in the Bible are? If you go to the very beginning of the Bible, what are the very first 2 words? Do you know?
No.
They are God created. Those are the very first 2 words in the Bible. Genesis chapter 1 says that God started speaking words, and he said things like, "Let there be light," and then suddenly light appeared. Do you remember reading about that?
Yes.
It says he created the sky and the land, plants, trees, animals, people. The Bible says that God created everything. So, does that mean that he created dinosaurs?
Yep.
Yes. According to the Bible, God created dinosaurs, and that's where they came from. But do you think that everyone agrees with that answer?
No.
Some people don't believe in God, and if they don't think that God is real, then they're not going to think that God created the dinosaurs. So if someone does not believe in God, what do you think their answer would be? Where did dinosaurs come from?
Well, some scientists think that the Big Bang happened.
Oh, you're right. Yes, some people might talk about the Big Bang, and they might also talk about something called evolution. So there was a man in the 1800s named Charles Darwin. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Well, he did some studies on an island, and he wrote a book. And after he did that, the idea of evolution started to become popular. Evolution says that one kind of creature changes slowly into another kind of creature over a long period of time. It changes into something that is more advanced or complex. So, to put it in ways that we can understand, evolution says that there was a tiny speck and it showed up after that big explosion you were talking about. And this tiny speck was alive. Over a long period of time, that speck started to change into other things like plants and worms. And those worms changed into jellyfish and crabs. And those creatures eventually changed into things with backbones like fish. And those fish changed into land animals. And that would include dinosaurs, right?
Right.
And so evolution says that this took billions of years to happen.
But they say dinosaurs transformed into birds, but that's not true. Okay, a T-Rex turned into a robin.
So if we have a group of 100 people, and some say that God created dinosaurs, and others say that they evolved from one creature to another, do those people agree on the answer?
No.
No, they don't. There are many people who do not agree on the answer. So remember, I asked the 100 people 3 questions, right? That was the first question. Where did they come from? The second question was, when did the dinosaurs become extinct? Now, what does the word extinct mean?
It means like there's no more living at all.
Right. Yes, there's none. So if we say that dinosaurs are extinct, they're all gone. They all died out, right?
Right.
So do you think that everyone agrees on this answer?
No, because evolution says that they lived millions and millions of years ago.
Right. So here's one answer that we might get. Some experts might say that dinosaurs went extinct about 65 million years ago. And if you were to look in books or on the internet or watch TV or movies or even go to school and learn about dinosaurs, you will hear that same answer in a lot of different places, that dinosaurs lived millions and millions of years ago. So let's talk about the reason why people think that they lived so long ago. Let's say a paleontologist digs up a dinosaur fossil. And one of the things that they want to do when they find a fossil is they want to figure out how old it is. And they do this by doing something called radiometric dating. And that's kind of a big word, but I'm going to try to explain it in a way that we can understand, okay?
Okay.
So many parts of the Earth are made up of a certain rock called igneous rocks. And igneous rocks are made from magma and lava, kind of like you'd find in the volcanoes. And scientists have figured out a way to find out how old a fossil is by finding out how old the rocks are. So if they find a fossil in a certain part or a certain layer of a rock, they can look at the rock around where they found the fossil and see how old it is. And they do this kind of by using a math problem. Do you like math?
No.
Well, they have to put some numbers together, and it's like they do a math problem to figure out how old the rocks are and figure out how old the fossil is. And there are several numbers in this math problem, and some numbers they know for sure. But other numbers they just kind of have to estimate. It's kind of like they have to use their best guess to find that number. So when they do this math problem, the answer is not 100% correct. Now remember, not everyone agrees with this answer. Some people don't like that they have to guess with their math problem. And there are people who read the Bible and they kind of do their own math problem when they read the Bible. Did you know there's math in the Bible?
No.
Do you remember reading the Bible and reading about how old people were, how long they lived?
Yes.
So like in Genesis 5:8, it says Adam lived to be 930 years old. You made a funny face. Does that sound old?
Yes.
Yes. So he lived to be 930, and one of his sons lived to be 530. Does that sound old too?
Yes.
Yes. You can take numbers like that and you can add them up. And when you do that, you could say that the Earth is somewhere around 6,000 years old. Now, the other people who say that the dinosaurs died out about 65 million years ago, they think that the Earth is about 4 billion years old.
That's really old.
That's really old. It's a really old Earth if that's true. And so that explosion that you were talking about, they think that that happened a little over 4 billion years ago. But then there are other people who think that the Earth isn't very old at all, and they think it's only about 6,000 years old. So when we ask the question, how long ago did dinosaurs become extinct? People definitely don't agree, do they?
No.
No. And this brings up our last question that we asked our imaginary people. The question is, did dinosaurs live at the same time as people? That's an interesting thought. What if you walked out your front door and you saw a dinosaur?
That'd be a little weird.
Would it be a little weird?
But I think, yes, that they would live with people a long time ago, because in the very first question you said that God created everything, and so dinosaurs would live with people.
Oh, that's a good thought, Grayson. We said, what are the first 2 words in the Bible? Do you remember what they are?
God created everything.
Yes, it said the first 2 words are God created. And the Bible says that God created everything in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. So on day 1, he created time and space and the earth and light. Day 2, he created atmosphere. Day 3, he created the dry land and the plants. Day 4, he created the sun, the moon, and the stars. Day 5, he created the sea creatures and the flying creatures. And day 6, do you know what he created on day 6? He created people and land animals, both on the same day. So we asked the question, did dinosaurs live at the same time as people? And so if you read about creation in the book of Genesis, What do you think some people would say the answer is? Yes or no?
Yes.
You would think they would say yes. Now, what about those people who don't believe in God? They're not going to look for their answer in the Bible, are they?
Yeah, well, they would probably say no.
You're right. They would say no. They think that the dinosaurs died around 65 million years ago, which would be 65 million years before people lived, because they think that people didn't evolve until millions of years after the dinosaurs died. So we've asked 3 questions about dinosaurs. And even though we asked them to imaginary people, these are real answers that people would give today. And not everyone agrees on what the answer is. Now, there is a question that I could ask our 100 experts and everyone would agree on. They would all agree. Do you know what that question is?
No.
If I asked everyone, if I said, do you think that dinosaurs really existed sometime in the past? Do you think everyone would agree on that?
Yes.
Yes, they would. I think everyone would say yes. They agree dinosaurs did exist. Why do you think they would agree on that answer?
Because they can find their bones.
That's exactly right. Because people have found dinosaur fossils all over the world. Dinosaur fossils are something that we can see with our eyes. People can hold it in their hands. We can go to a museum and see it for ourselves. It's something that everyone in the world can see with their own eyes. And so there's not much to argue about since we can see it, right? Everyone agrees. But when you ask other questions, like how old the Earth is, or how long ago did dinosaurs live, or where did they come from, those are questions that we can't see with our eyes, like we can a dinosaur fossil. We were not alive thousands or millions or billions of years ago to see what happened, were we? Now, one of the reasons I think it's so important to talk about dinosaurs in the Bible has to do with going to school. There have been a lot of kids that have had teachers who do not believe in God. And the teachers teach things about the earth and about things like dinosaurs, and they teach it as if it's an absolute fact, that it's 100% true. And sometimes there are kids who have already made the decision to believe in God, to believe in Jesus, and they believe what the Bible says. But then they go to school and they listen to these teachers, and then they become really confused. And sometimes when this happens, they decide to stop believing in God, or maybe they decide to stop reading the Bible. Or maybe they choose to only believe parts of the Bible, but not the whole thing. So something like dinosaurs is important to talk about because of what we found out today. There are some things about dinosaurs that people say are true, but really they don't know that it's 100% true. They've just used their best guess. It's kind of like if I said, hey, Grayson, the grass outside is purple. Is that true? Is our grass purple?
No.
No, just because I say something is true doesn't mean that it's true. And it's important to talk about it so when this does happen, we don't get confused. Now, science is not a bad thing. I actually love learning about things in science. I went to college and I got a degree in science, and I used to work in the science field. And I really like it that you like dinosaurs so much. That's a good thing. Because you know why?
Why?
When we learn about things like dinosaurs, we can see a glimpse of who God is. He created things like the stars, where there's just so many, we have no idea how many there are. In the universe, we have no idea how big it is because it's so huge. And dinosaurs, aren't they amazing?
Yes.
Yes. So he created things that are so amazing. So how amazing must God be for him to be able to create things like that? When we learn about things in science, we kind of get a small glimpse of who God is. And that's a good thing, right?
Right.
But it's also important to remember that we can never let anyone change our mind about God. In Hebrews 3:12, it says, "Do not let an unbelieving heart turn you away from the living God." We have to choose to believe in Jesus no matter what anyone else says. And you must decide that you won't let disagreements about science change your mind about God. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You can go to our website, hideandseekministries.com/podcast. There will be a little box at the top, and you can find a free printable worksheet to go along with this episode for a fun way to review. Also, next to that box for the worksheets, you will also find information for how to be a part of this podcast. We would love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, we hope that you subscribe or follow this podcast, tell your friends and family, and we would also love for you to leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people around the world to tell them about Jesus and to help them have a personal relationship with God. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you join us again on the next episode of the Knowing God podcast for kids.
Bye.
Okay, Grayson, I could see it in your eyes earlier. You wanted to say more about dinosaurs, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You love talking about dinosaurs. Okay, so I would like to hear a few more dinosaurs that you like to talk about. And then after that, you have a special joke for a podcast listener named Liv who wrote to us. Is that right?
Yep.
Is it a dinosaur joke?
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so first tell us about some of the dinosaurs that you want to talk about.
Okay, the first dinosaur that I want to talk about is a dinosaur called Quasocalalis.
Oh, that's a big word. What do you know about that dinosaur?
Well, it's like a pterodactyl, and it kind of has a long neck, and then like a beak, and then a little head with an eye. It's like super ginormous. The whole creature is.
Oh, it's a huge flying bird?
Yeah, and I even know what its species is.
What is it?
Its species is called a pterosaur.
You know a lot about that dinosaur, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Is there one more you wanted to talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
It is called Mosasaurus.
A mosasaurus. I think I know what that one is. Tell us about a mosasaurus.
Well, it's a sea creature, and it, as science says, that it's not really a dinosaur.
I see.
Because they say, all dinosaurs are land animals.
Oh, but this is kind of like a dinosaur.
Yes, and so was that pterodactyl I just talked about.
I see. So how big is a mosasaurus?
I think it's maybe 40 feet long, I think.
So it's big. I wouldn't want to go swimming with that, right?
No. Good thing it's 16th then.
Okay, Grayson, are you ready to tell your joke for Liv?
Yes,
Okay,
I am.
all right, let's hear it.
What do you call a velociraptor that flosses a lot?
I don't know what.
A velociraptor.
A velociraptor. That's a good one, Bear.